Kenya has now entered an era where careless speech could just land one in serious trouble, regardless of their social standing in the community. Cherangani MP Joshua Kutunyi, Kuria MP Wilfred Machage and Mount Elgon MP Fred Kapondi spent a night in police cells before facing charges of hate speech and incitement of violence at the High Court. But many are still confused about what exactly amounts to hate speech.
If you use abusive, insulting and threatening words, or distribute material, or publish plays that pit one ethnic group, one tribe against another, one religion against another, one race against another, that qualifies as hate.
There's also incitement, where you're going to say tutapiga hao watu, tutakanya hao watu, tutawakanyaga.
That is according to the National Cohesion and Integration Act of 2008. Still, according to Section 95 of the Penal Code, when one makes statements that demean the dignity of another person, it qualifies as hate speech and defamation. And there are just as many ways to propagate hate speech.
It can be personally, directly to a person. It can be by how you publish it, by way of sending SMSs, by way of communicating through email, by way of communicating through the mass media, whether you will be through the print media or electronic media, and even by the plays.
It becomes tricky when it comes to plays or artistic works because often people find humor in stereotyping certain communities.
But there's an extent to which depiction that promotes or excites negativity or hatred towards another community would then amount to hate speech. If at a time when there's great tension between two particular communities.
There is yet another grey area that continues to generate debate globally. Chapter 5, Section 79(1) of our current Constitution states that except with his own consent, no person shall be hindered in the enjoyment of freedom of expression. But where does freedom of expression stop and hate speech begin?
It's like a continuum or rainbow. You don't know where one color starts and another sort. Sometimes you need to be in the thick of it before you know.
There's a very thin line, between when an act or an action amounts to hate speech and when it does not. That is why the circumstances, the entire circumstances surrounding it, including the position of the person to whom that act is directed and the position of the person directing the act.
Despite being an offense that can be committed in any context, hate speech appears to be central in politics. The National Cohesion and Integration Commission is, however, on the lookout for both politicians and citizens who propagate hate speech.
We are implementing the law to all Kenyans. Whether the constitution debate is here or not, what we are saying is that any Kenyan, irrespective of whether you are discussing about the referendum or not, if you break the law, then we recommend that you be prosecuted.
You have every right, in fact, it is the proper and correct and expected thing that you should be able to discuss such provisions and talk about them. But even as you do so, you must be conscious of the audience you are addressing that message to.
The offense is punishable by 1 million shillings fine or 3 years imprisonment or both. Sylvia Chebet for Sunday Live.